guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we will be reviewing a Schleich dinosaur, actually two of them, and it is the Apatosaurus. Two Apatosaurus. One clearly is huge, and one is also actually pretty good size, but not quite as huge as the other one. These are both retired, unfortunately. I don't know why they've retired both of them, especially because they haven't released a newer version of the Apatosaurus. I can understand when a company will go and retire a dinosaur when they're releasing a newer, updated version, but they retired their newest one, which would have been this one here in the front. They did retire it and then never released another one. I don't know if maybe it's a plan for a future release or what the issue was there, but I like both, really. I actually spent quite a long time trying to find this one here in the back because I'm a bigger fan of the color scheme on that. I feel like it's a more realistic color scheme, and it's huge and looks really, really nice to me. This one here in the front I do also like. The color scheme is a little too flashy in my opinion, but it doesn't look terrible at the same time. The sculpt of it overall looks pretty good. I think the tail probably should have been a little longer on it, but I really like the look of it. So let's get a closer look at these guys. We'll start with the smaller of the two, which was the newer Schleich Apatosaurus. You can see here, looking at the head, mine's got a little bit of a paint problem here, where the paint has been worn off, scraped off. I don't know why that is. I did buy a brand new, but it came like that. The detail on the face is phenomenal. They've done a lot of work in the sculpt, the overall sculpt of this dinosaur. The nostrils look very good. The face looks beautiful. The eye is nice and glossy. It's just pure black, which I prefer my dinosaurs to have a little color to their eye, but it actually looks very good on this one. It doesn't look bad at all. The mouth is nicely sculpted as well. Looking at the neck, beautiful, beautiful detailing the entire way down. I think sculpt-wise, Schleich did a beautiful job on this thing. It looks phenomenal. I think the color scheme doesn't look terrible. It's just probably not how I would see it looking in real life. It's a little too bright and flashy for me, but like I said, it doesn't look that bad at all. The one thing that I can say that I love about Schleich that they do a lot is if you look at all the cracks and crevices in this dinosaur, they kind of put like a wash over it to give it that darker look inside the cracks, which I really feel like helps to bring their dinosaurs to life. It gives them a much more realistic look to me when they have that going on, as opposed to just painting over it and letting it look all one color. Schleich usually does a good job as far as different shades and stuff, but I don't know if they were really doing that too much at this point. You can see going down the leg here, the legs do get a little darker closer to the bottom, and that was a plus, but overall the body is just basically one base color with this dark orangish color and then some outlining done around it. And then the underside is a lighter color. It does look very good on the underside. Just look at that detail on the stomach, is incredible. Those skin folds all over the place, they look phenomenal. The feet themselves have been sculpted really nicely. Beautiful, beautiful detailing all over the place. Some nice skin folds here on the side of the stomach as well. They didn't really, they don't have a protruding hip bone here or anything. I don't know, maybe you couldn't really see that on an Apatosaurus, or maybe it's just this one's just too beefy, because he's got a pretty big belly. He obviously found a nice place to feed. And the back legs here look nice, they're sculpted nicely. Beautiful tail, but again, the tail seems short to me. I believe the tail should have been significantly longer. And that's pretty much the only drawback of this model. Like I said, the paint job itself isn't really my cup of tea, but detailing wise, I think it's phenomenal looking. And the tail just could have been longer, but minus the tail being longer, I think it's absolutely beautiful. If we look at the bigger one, and when I say big, this thing is huge. It is also beautiful, and clearly, as I said earlier, this is I spent such a long time searching for this one. I didn't really know too much about Schleich when I first discovered them, and then I actually saw this one was one of the first dinosaurs that I had ever seen from Schleich, was the newer Apatosaurus. And then I was online, I happened to notice this one on eBay but it was for an absolutely ridiculous price, so I spent a long time trying to find one for a reasonable price, and then I just gave in and paid a high price anyway, and now I see them all the time for much cheaper than what I paid, but that seems to happen no matter what when I'm searching for something that's valuable. But anyway, not to complain about that for the rest of my life. The detailing on this thing is ridiculously beautiful. It's so much bigger than the other one. I think it just looks so real. It's such a very realistic color in my opinion. The eyes have a nice light brown around them, and they are colored black, very glossy. They look beautiful. They did put a gloss here on the nostrils, on the top of the nose here, and the top of the head, which makes it look very, very good, makes it look really alive. Some nice brown coloring around the nostrils up there as well. Most of the color of the animal is just one base color, but in this, it's not really a problem to me because I think it looks really good the way it is. The underside is a lighter color, and look at that detailing. But overall, it just gives me the feeling of like a large animal, like a large elephant type of a color, and it looks very good. The detailing is beautiful. The entire under the cracks here, they've done a wash with like a white type of a color, or like a light gray, and I think that really gives it a beautiful look. It really helps to bring it to life. It looks very realistic to me. Detail done all over the place, absolutely wonderful. Nice tail. Again, the tail on this one is pretty similar to the one in the other one, because I believe they're almost identical in sculpt, but one is huge and the heads are turned a little bit differently, but the tail isn't super long. Again, the only drawback from this model, because other than the tail, I think this thing is phenomenal. I think the toenails, actually, I didn't go over that either. The toenails are colored really nicely. A very realistic color in my opinion. You can see there are actually shades put into them, which I will always appreciate on any dinosaur model. If you actually go the extra mile on the toenails, I'll love you for it. So yeah, looking at this is absolutely awesome. Beautiful, beautiful job done by Schleich. As I said, both of these have been retired, unfortunately, so they're a little harder to find. I don't believe this one is very costly still, but I could be wrong. It's obviously, I haven't gone searching for it because I do own it already. This one, however, I know cost a significant amount of money, as I did have to pay a lot for it myself when I originally bought it, and I would imagine it hasn't changed too much. I do from time to time see them for sale for cheaper than I paid, but it's still not exactly cheap. But for the size, even if you pay $30, $40 for this thing, it's still a great deal because it is absolutely huge. The other thing that I do want to say about them is you can see that the poses and the sculpts are very similar, but they're not exactly the same. I think primarily the legs are in the same spot, the body is shaped the same way, everywhere it's all similar, but the tail on the smaller one curves to his right. You can see the bigger one's tail is straighter and then curves over, whereas there's a much more of a curve on the smaller one here. And the heads, the bigger one is kind of looking more forward but slightly to his left, and the smaller one is really looking to his left. So there are differences between the two. Actually, wouldn't be that bad of an idea to get this smaller one and maybe repaint it similar to the bigger one, and it might look like a family, and that's the young one. Because of the size difference, obviously this one is way bigger than the smaller one. As far as the size goes, even with this thing being the smaller one, you're looking at about a foot long, so still pretty big, and a little over 5 inches, maybe close to 5.5 inches tall on that one. Now this one is a different story. This thing is massive. From the head to the tail, you're looking at 20 inches, a little over 20 inches, maybe close to 20.5. And height-wise, a little over 6.5 inches, maybe on its way towards 7 inches. Now again, this one is eclipsed to this one in the back completely. You got to keep this guy in the front because he's smaller. But yeah, Schleich done a beautiful job. I can't always say that about Schleich, but with these two, I can't recommend them enough. They're both beautiful, and I am a big fan of Apatosaurus. They pretty much hit it right on the head as far as I'm concerned with the sculpt. Just the tail should have been longer. Otherwise, I think these are absolutely beautiful. Both great job done by Schleich on both of these. I will link you guys as to where you can purchase these if I can still find them. I believe I should be able to find both on eBay. Just check the description. There will be some links in there. And please like, comment, and subscribe, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.